So within the last week or so, I started drinking a gallon of milk a day to increase my performance and gains in the gym. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I follow primarily a high-fat, high-protein, low-carb diet, and the main reason why I started doing a low-carb diet was because I started to notice I couldn't digest grains, which kind of sucks considering the fact that rice and sweet potatoes and oatmeal make such great pre-workout foods to fuel hardcore gym sessions. So without these grains, I started to notice how I would lose weight super quickly, and my performance suffered. Of course, the only other thing I could do would be like add bananas into my diet, but that's so hard, and it's not as sustainable. It's not really as great of an energy source. So I started doing like a half a gallon to a gallon of milk a day, and I started to notice what I felt were excellent results. However, because I felt good doing it. However, I started to feel as if it was damaging my thyroid, speeding it up actually. And I started to wonder maybe if dairy products, if I have some kind of allergy or sensitivity to dairy products, that might be causing Graves' disease or hyperthyroid disorder. And it's interesting because, of course, I've had symptoms of hyperthyroid for years since I was a child, including, heavy sweating. I mean sweating a lot, like just stepping outside into like the hot sun for like 10 minutes used to leave me dripping in sweat when I was younger. Of course, hair loss and sensitivity to the heat, and a sensation of goiter or something large in my throat, which is basically, enlarged thyroid. And so when I started to, look at the symptoms of hyperthyroid, I started to think about some of the possible correlations between milk or my milk consumption and dietary patterns and these symptoms. And as I found out, of course, most of my life, I didn't really go without dairy. That was a big part of my diet. Aside from like the month or the couple months I went vegan, and I thought about how crappy I was feeling after a while. But at the beginning, I was feeling okay, and I was thinking that's probably because I removed dairy from my diet. I was actually able to breathe again, and so I tried to just like block it out because I thought, well, maybe it's just in my head. But what I started to notice is a correlation between mood swings and mental health as well as dairy. And of course, there's lots of scientific studies on schizophrenia, obsessive compulsive disorder, and things like that, and depression as well, correlating with dairy consumption. And that's partly theorized because of the opioid increase that happens after you consume dairy. But there's many other explanations, including, just a straight up allergy or intolerance to casein protein specifically. So, unfortunately, dairy is an amazing source of fuel, especially if you're an athlete. You can just chug a whole gallon of milk and smash in those calories real quick. But if it's causing those kinds of problems or what have you, then it's probably doing more harm than good, and it's not worth it in the end. So what I'm hoping I can do is ignore the gallon of milk that I just bought that's sitting in my fridge and try to go dairy free for at least 1 week, just to see if I have any change in my symptoms and to notice any difference, because I honestly feel like I've been going crazy since I started drinking a gallon of milk a day. But, of course, you can never be too sure unless you start to change things up. So, we will see what happens within the next week, especially if I can keep this up. And if I can, I'll be letting everyone know what my results are.